February 14th, 2019, Valentine's Day. Inside Airbus headquarters in Toulouse, CEO Tom Enders steps in front of a microphone and says something no one at the company ever imagined saying out loud. The A380 is over. Production will end. The largest passenger aircraft ever built, 11 years in service, $25 billion in development costs, is being killed. Not by a crash, not by a safety scandal, by a single phone call from Dubai that Airbus could not answer. One customer, one relationship, one moment where it broke. That is the entire story of why the A380 died. And it is a stranger story than anyone has told you before. When Airbus formally launched the A380 in December 2000, the pitch was enormous: a flying hotel. 2 full passenger decks from nose to tail, showers in first class, a bar, beds, 853 seats if you stripped out every luxury and packed them in. The aircraft was going to do for long-haul travel what the 747 had done for the 1970s. Pull the price down and open the world to people who couldn't reach it before. Airbus believed the future belonged to mega hubs. Passengers would funnel into Dubai, Singapore, Frankfurt. Giant planes would feed those hubs and spread passengers out from there. The A380 was the perfect machine for that world. But that world required volume. Airbus ran the numbers internally, and they were brutal. The program originally needed around 270 sales just to break even. By 2014, the program had been flying commercially for 7 years. Interest from airlines had never matched what Airbus projected. Most carriers looked at the A380 and saw the same thing: a magnificent aircraft their finance departments were terrified of. Fill it, and it prints money. Fly it half empty, and it is catastrophically expensive. 4 engines did not forgive bad load factors. But one airline saw it differently. Emirates had placed its first order for the A380 before the aircraft had even been officially named. The Dubai carrier saw it not as a risk, but as the engine of an entire strategy. Emirates would build Dubai into the greatest transfer hub on Earth. The A380 would carry the passengers who made that hub work. It was a perfect alignment of machine and ambition. Sir Tim Clark, the Englishman who had spent decades turning Dubai from a desert refueling stop into the aviation capital of the planet, drove that strategy with absolute conviction. Emirates ordered more, then more again. By the time production was running at full pace, Emirates held the majority of all outstanding A380 orders in the world. Airbus knew exactly what that dependency meant, and they built the entire production schedule around it anyway. At peak, the line was moving 30 aircraft per year. The overwhelming majority of them were going to one city. This is the moment the A380 became fragile. Not because Emirates was a bad customer, because Airbus had allowed one customer to become their entire program. 400 aircraft needed just to break even. Emirates alone would never get them there. But as long as the orders kept coming, the line kept running, and Toulouse could keep telling itself a different story.
By 2018, the cracks had been forming for years. The Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 had arrived with fuel burns 30% lower than the A380. ETOPS rules that once made 4 engines mandatory for ocean crossings were long gone. Airlines that might have bought the Super Jumbo were ordering twins instead. The order book outside Emirates had essentially stopped moving. Tim Clark had a solution. He wanted an A380 Neo, new engines, reduced weight, modernized performance. He had been pushing for it for years. If Airbus committed to a re-engined version, Emirates would commit to a large new order that could keep the line alive long enough for other airlines to follow. Airbus ran the numbers. A re-engineering program would cost billions more on top of the $25 billion already spent. Rolls-Royce had shifted focus to the 787 and A350. The engine alliance of GE and Pratt & Whitney had lost interest entirely. Without an engine partner willing to invest, Airbus could not make the Neo work. Clark's position was direct. Without a credible commitment to future development, Emirates could not justify continuing to bet on an aircraft the market had already begun walking away from. He needed copper-bottomed guarantees. Those guarantees never came.
The Toulouse production hall did not close overnight. The final A380 rolled out in November 2021. Workers gathered around the last airframe. No celebration was organized. The pandemic made sure of that. Or perhaps Airbus simply had nothing left to celebrate. Emirates still flies its remaining fleet. Passengers still line up for the upper deck. The aircraft remains genuinely, unambiguously loved by everyone who rides it. Tim Clark himself has said since the cancellation that the math still supports aircraft of that size, that a lighter, more efficient next-generation Super Jumbo may yet make sense. Nobody in the industry is moving to build one. The lesson Airbus took from the A380 is now treated as settled truth across the entire industry. You cannot design a program around one customer. You cannot build a production line that collapses the moment a single relationship changes. The era of the bespoke Super Jumbo, engineered to serve one airline strategy in one city, is over. But here is the question that still does not have a clean answer. Was the A380 a failure, or was it a plane that arrived at precisely the wrong moment, before twin-engine technology made the hub model obsolete, before fuel prices made four engines unforgivable? Emirates made it work. For 15 years, on the routes it was designed for, the A380 generated enormous profits and helped build a desert city into a global crossroads. The plane wasn't wrong, the bet was. Whether that makes the A380 a mistake or a tragedy depends entirely on how long you think the story actually runs. If you love aviation and airplanes, subscribe to Avia Tales for the latest aviation news, aircraft updates, and airplane stories. Hit the bell so you never miss a video and join our community of aviation enthusiasts. See you in the next one.